Drew Griffiths died on June the 18th, 1984. He was murdered. No one knows who the murderer was. No one knows exactly what the circumstances were, whether it was purely a sexual encounter that went wrong, whether it had something to do with robbery, whether it had something to do with drugs, drink, or whether the oncoming tide of AIDS in Britain created even more panic than usual in a situation where two people come together and they have expressions of love or desire or just pure lust, and then one of them doesn't emerge in the morning alive. That happens far too much with gay men all over the world, and it was a shock when it happened to someone that I knew, Drew Griffiths. Drew Griffiths was a co-founder of Gay Sweatshop. Gay Sweatshop was a touring theatrical company in the mid-1970s to the early 1980s. Some of the people who acted in its plays that were all written by gay and lesbian people were Anthony Sher, Kevin Elliott, Simon Callow, and they were plays that changed the landscape for gay men and lesbians in Britain at that time. It gave us something to hang on to, something to relate to. These were our role models in plays like Mr. X, As Time Goes By, The Dear Love of Comrades. They were our history, our past, our present and our future, on stage, in colleges, universities, sometimes schools, and in theatres across Britain. Drew, what can I say about him? He was a sprite, he was an elf. He reminded me of a wandering troubadour from the medieval period. He had a lovely North Country accent and he used to call me Chook. We used to meet in the Salisbury pub in St Martin's Lane when it used to be a gay pub. And he said, "What you having, Chook?" He normally would have a beer. I would probably have a port and lemon or something rather sissy like that. And we'd talk about musicals and coming out and changing the world and getting rid of the ridiculous age of consent that was then current in Britain, which was 21 years old for males. We talked about everything. I was at a party with Drew, around about mid-70s, and I suddenly said to him, "Drew, something terrible's going to happen." And he said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Something terrible's going to happen involving us, involving the community." He said, "What do you mean? Are the club's going to be shut down?" I said, "No, far worse than that. Far worse than that." I never had a premonition like that before, and I'd never had one since. I don't know what it was about, but obviously around about 1982, 83, AIDS suddenly became something that we could not avoid. But whether it was AIDS around, there was also homophobia. There was also this ridiculous idea that gay men could somehow be treated as less than human. It was always open season for gay men. The risks that gay men take, of course, having sex with people that they haven't met before, or even if they have met them before, are great. And when you're in a situation of great intimacy, you need trust. And obviously in Drew's case, that trust wasn't there, and Drew ended up dead. The case has not been reopened. That looks as though we have come to the end of the road on who killed Drew Griffiths and why. So what would Drew like us to take from this situation of someone that was a talent? He created plays, television plays, such as Something for the Boys, which is kind of a gay Scottish brief encounter from 1981 when Scotland had only just decriminalised sexual acts between males over the age of 21. What would he like us to do? I think he would like us to take our revenge on homophobes and homophobia, wherever they exist, in whatever form, in whatever culture, in whatever country. And I think he would like that revenge to be in the form of creativity. So all you artists, all you playwrights, all you potters, all you gardeners, all you fashionistas, go out there and blaze a trail of glory. Let loose the rainbow panther, which we have inside all of us. I was in the bank just the other day, and I said to the male teller, "Oh, I do like your nails. What colour is the polish?" And he said, "Over the top." And I thought Drew would have loved that, wouldn't he? You go into a bank and there's a male teller wearing over the top nail varnish. The sad thing is that we have one legacy from Drew's death, and that is a song. And it was a song composed the year of Drew's death by Bronski Beat and sung by Jimmy Somerville. It's called Why. There is a video which has nothing to do with Drew or gay bashing or anything like that, but it does have to do with prejudice. And I'm going to read the two lines that mean the most to me whenever I hear that song. Contempt in your eyes when I turn to kiss his lips. Broken I lie, all my feelings denied. Blood on your fist. Drew, you didn't die in vain. You are not alone. We're out there and we're going to have the best time of our lives, because our lives matter, and gay means good as you. We've been gay for centuries. Nothing anyone has tried to do has ever stopped it. Their efforts have been in vain, and they will continue to be in vain. Drew, we send our love to you wherever you are, Chook.